All right, hey, y'all. Welcome back to the channel. Andrea from Andrea Speaks TV here. Back to bring you news and commentary you can use, okay? I want to say thank you all for tuning in. And I want to say that I appreciate your support, okay? I just want to come on really quickly and give some updates with you. You know, our government has avoided a shutdown, but y'all don't let that fool you. We're still in trouble. So I want to sing this song, and I hope it brings some encouragement and inspiration to you, okay? I'm going to start it over, y'all. Thank you all so much for supporting the channel. This live will not be long. I'm just gonna sing this song really quickly. I believe this song resonates with many of us. You know, so much is going on in our country. Our country is in a state that maybe we thought we'd never see before, and you know, we just want to, pray for those in our country. Pray for our leaders. Definitely pray for our servicemen and women who are working selflessly to protect our country. And so I just want to sing a few words of this song, okay? All right, you all make sure you like this video, share this video, and if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the channel, okay? Thank you all so much. If tomorrow all the things were gone, I'd work for all my life, and I had to start again. Thank you all so much for tuning in and joining in. Thank you. I thank my lucky stars to be living here today, 'cause the flag still stands for freedom, and they can't take that away. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope that you're enjoying the song that I'm singing. I think the words are very relevant today, y'all. Listen. Lakes of Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee, across the plains of Texas, from sea to shining sea, from Detroit down to Houston, and New York to LA. Pride in every American heart, and it's time to stand and say, and I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. God bless the USA. Isn't that right, y'all? Listen, I want to come on and just share with you some recent stories that have been happening in the news. Some that I've talked about before here on the channel. You all know I've been bringing you coverage regarding the government shutdown. Excuse me. And so I just want to come back again and update you on where things stand. Okay, as of today, today is what, Sunday, October the 1st. Our government, Congress, the House of Representatives, along with the Senate, did pass, okay, a temporary spending package to fund, from my understanding, to fund our country for the next 45 days. And therefore, our government has averted the shutdown with, like I said, the temporary funding bill. Okay, I want to let you know that, that may be a good thing. However, our country is still what I call in a mess. Okay, so much so, okay, that our president, you can see that I have put him in the as a thumbnail of this video. He has actually told Congress to, and I quote, get to work on longer term government funding deal after averting a shutdown. Okay, let's talk about what was said, and I'm actually going to read to you a statement that was issued by our current administration. Listen, y'all, President Biden late on Saturday signed the bipartisan deal put forward by House Speaker Kevin McCarthy to keep the government funded for 45 days just before a government shutdown was to go into effect. Now, President Biden on Sunday, in remarks at the White House, said he was, and I quote, sick and tired of the brinkmanship. Okay, enough is enough, he was quoted as saying. This is not that complicated. The brinkmanship has to end, and there shouldn't be another crisis. There's no excuse for another crisis. Now, I wonder why he said that, y'all. There are so many crises going on. It seemed like this particular one really struck a nerve with him. Do you think that's because he does not, we have a new election, another presidential election coming up next year in November, and any potential government shutdown could be detrimental to his campaign. So I wonder if that is why he said that. Okay, now the bill will fund the government through November 17th. He was also quoted as saying, tonight bipartisan majorities in the House and Senate voted to keep the government open, preventing an unnecessary crisis that would have inflicted needless pain on millions of hardworking Americans. Okay. He was also quoted as saying, this bill ensures that active duty troops will continue to get paid. Travelers will be spared airport delays. Millions of women and children will continue to have access to vital nutrition assistance and so much more. This, he said, is good news for the American people. Okay, hold on just 1 minute, y'all. Okay, I'm back with y'all. Okay, listen, y'all. Now, the Senate, okay, what happened? The Senate approved the bill about 3 hours before the midnight deadline in what is said to be an 88-9 vote. Excuse me. No Democratic senators voted against the measure, according to my sources, with all 9 no votes from Republicans. Okay, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer was quoted as saying, and I quote, it's been a long day full of twists and turns, but the American people can breathe a sigh of relief, he said. Okay, there will be no government shutdown. All right. The House, the article says, passed the bill by a 335 to 91 margin Saturday afternoon, after House Speaker Kevin McCarthy announced in the morning that he would try to push the short-term funding bill. Hold on just a minute, y'all. That he would try to push the short-term funding bill through the House with Democratic help, a move that could keep the government open but would put his speakership at risk. Sorry about that, y'all. Now, I did see something, and I got to do some more research on this. I saw something where another political figure was saying something about McCarthy possibly losing his position. So I don't know what's going on with that. Maybe some of you all can offer insight. But I would be curious to know what was going on with that. Okay. Now, the bill ultimately won support, the article says, from more Democrats than Republicans in the House, with 90 Republicans voting no. Just one Democrat voted against the measure. Noticeably, the article says, noticeably absent from the bill, however, is funding for Ukraine. Okay, let's talk about that, y'all. We talked about before here on the channel how millions and billions of dollars are going out of the door. However, again, I feel like, that we should help in times of need. That's what the humanitarian thing to do. However, what about the American people? We have high gas prices, high food prices. People are losing their jobs. People are being evicted from their homes and things like that. Why isn't some of that money? Imagine what could be done if we take some of that money, okay, just a portion of that money that has been sent to Ukraine and use it on the American people. Okay, I'm going to talk about that in a minute. But with this temporary package that was passed, okay, it stopped funding for Ukraine. Okay, let me know your thoughts on that, y'all. Now, the article also says, noticeably absent from the bill, however, is funding for Ukraine that was sought by Democrats but opposed by many Republicans. The measure does include spending for disaster relief. Okay. President Biden said in a quote on Sunday, "We cannot under any circumstances allow American support for Ukraine to be interrupted." I'm going to talk about that, y'all. He said, "Stop the games and get to work." Okay. Why does he feel so strongly about supporting Ukraine? Okay. I would like to know your thoughts on that. What is really going on here? Why does it seem like he is actually upset? Why does it seem that he is upset that the funding for Ukraine has been stopped by the passage of this temporary funding package? Okay, we're going to talk about that, y'all. Okay, thank you. Okay, now, McCarthy was forced to rely on Democrats, the article says, for passage because the Speaker's hard right flank said it would oppose any short-term measure. The Speaker set up a process for voting requiring a 2/3 supermajority, about 290 votes in the 435-member House for passage. Republicans hold a 221 to 212 majority with 2 vacancies. Okay, now, before the vote, check this out, y'all. Before the vote, McCarthy indicated that the cost of a shutdown to Americans, particularly those in uniform, was too high. He was quoted as saying, and I quote, "I'm asking Republicans and Democrats alike, put your partisanship away, focus on the American public." Excuse me, y'all. I am yawning. It's late, but I want to make sure I share this with you, okay? So if I take a pause, it may be because I'm yawning, okay? I've had a long, very fun, exciting day. Listen, y'all. So he asked the Republicans and the Democrats to put their partisanship away, focus on American people. He also was quoted saying, "How can you in good conscience think of the men and women who volunteered to risk their lives to defend us, to say they can't be paid, be while we work out our differences? That is unfair." And he said that I cannot do that to our men and women in uniform. Listen, y'all, the Ukraine funding is not included in the short-term spending bill. In his statement, President Biden addressed the absence of Ukraine funding in the bill, saying that, and I quote, "We cannot under any circumstances allow American support for Ukraine to be interrupted." He said, "I fully expect the Speaker will keep his commitment to the people of Ukraine and secure passage of the support needed to help Ukraine at this critical moment." Okay, I'm going to close by reading a statement from President Joe Biden on the passage of the bipartisan bill to keep the government open. And again, I want to know your thoughts. Listen, this is on the whitehouse.gov website. This press statement was released on September 30th. Okay, and I quote, these are the words of President Joe Biden, and I want to read them to you. And I quote, "Tonight," he said, okay, "bipartisan majorities," tonight meaning Saturday night, bipartisan majorities in the House and Senate voted to keep the government open, preventing an unnecessary crisis that would have inflicted needless pain, he said, on millions of hardworking Americans. This bill, President Joe Biden quoted as saying, "This bill ensures that active duty troops will continue to get paid, travelers will be spared airport delays, millions of women and children will continue to have access to vital nutrition assistance, and so much more. This is good news for the American people," President Joe Biden says, okay? But he also went on to say this, and listen to this, y'all. He said, "But I want to be clear. We should never have been in this position in the first place." These are the words of President Joe Biden. "Just a few months ago," he said, "Speaker McCarthy and I reached a budget agreement to avoid precisely this type of manufactured crisis. For weeks, extreme House Republicans, listen to this, y'all, tried to walk away from that deal by demanding drastic cuts that would have been devastating for millions of Americans. They failed, he said, okay? And then he concludes by saying that while the speaker and the overwhelmingly majority of Congress while the speaker, President Joe Biden was quoted as saying, and I quote, while the speaker and the overwhelming majority of Congress have been steadfast in their support for Ukraine, there is no new funding in this agreement to continue that support. President Joe Biden continued by saying, we cannot under any circumstances allow American support for Ukraine to be interrupted. I fully expect the speaker will keep his commitment to the people of Ukraine and secure passage of the support needed to help Ukraine at this critical moment. Now, listen, y'all, I would beg to differ. Okay. Doesn't it seem like, wouldn't you say that the United States is at a critical point? Why is not more money being put out to provide real solutions and to help the American people? Okay. My question is, okay, and I want to close here because I know, here on the East Coast it's late. Got to get ready for the next day. Why is it, right? Hold on, y'all. I'm sorry about that. How is it, or why is it that our current administration seem very upset that in the temporary spending package that was just recently passed, why do they seem so upset that there was no funding for Ukraine included? Okay. Is there some type of agenda? What's really going on with that? There have been reports that the money allegedly may not be used for the purposes intended. Again, those are some allegations that have been made. But again, I want to ask the question, okay? Why did our current administration, right, our current president, why did he make a point to highlight the fact, okay, out of everything that was possibly discussed? You all, please make sure you like this video. It lets me know you can hear me clearly. It lets me know that you like the content of the channel. I appreciate your support. Why does it seem like out of all that could have been discussed, right, why did he make a point to highlight that there was no funding for Ukraine and that, basically, and I quote, he said, we cannot under any circumstances allow American support for Ukraine to be interrupted. What's going on with that, y'all? He fully expects, he says, the speaker will keep his commitment to the people of Ukraine and secure passage of the support needed to help Ukraine at this critical moment. Okay, what about keeping the commitment to the American people? Okay, those who were elected to serve. What about the commitment to help support and rebuild our country? Okay, it seems like our country is at a weak point. How do you feel about that? It seems like in many ways, right? When you look at our economy, when you look at several different areas, right? It seems like our country is at a weak point, and maybe there are some that recognize that, okay? More money, it definitely, as I shared before, it definitely does not seem like a time where our Congress should cut back on our defense spending. If not, they should be adding to it, right? But I want to know your thoughts. Okay, I'm going to close here, y'all, because it's getting late. I just want to come on and share this with you all. Please make sure, for those who subscribe and follow to the channel, if you voted in the poll about tracking the grocery prices, I do want to let you all know that Walmart, okay, most of you voted for Walmart, so we will be tracking grocery prices at Walmart. But I need to hear from you. I need to know what grocery items, what food items will we be tracking. So make sure you leave your thoughts in the comments. I appreciate each and every one of you all for your support. Take care, be blessed. And thank you so much for tuning in to and subscribing to Andrea Speaks TV. Be blessed and have a good night.